Hey guys, so major news today. Big news. A bunch of units just had hard quests announced for them, and by a bunch, I mean pretty much the rest of them. So, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, I have been rather upset with the state of the Japanese version. More specifically, how everything just seems to have been limited recently, and all the Nensos are limited, all the units are limited. It has just been an absolute whale of a mess. But it was announced today that pretty much everything's getting a hard quest. Cheryl and Gino will be getting April's hard quest, and Wilhelm, who I have up here right now, will be getting already got his. And starting today, I will be able to farm him too. So in celebration of that, I went ahead and 85'd him, and I need some more red eyes, but I'm going all in on Wilhelm. Basically, Wilhelm is Wind Soul. And I have some comments on Soul, and I'll be going over them in just a little bit, but let me first go down the rest of the list. So, in May, we will be getting Catanova, Kudenstein, Seda, Ott, Veer, Noin, Monzane, Yoras, Zane, Ziva, Fury, and Zen. And in June, we'll be getting Ultima, Miuna, Bashini, Bado, Kaya, Rakina, Soul, Orion, Zwei, Alma, Don Taras, Mocha, Brig, Belta. So, as I'm sure you heard, I mentioned Soul. I think I mentioned Soul. Anyways, the point is all these hyper-limited units, especially Soul, Orion, Brig, and Belta, who were basically said that there is no plans for a hard quest for those units, now have a hard quest. There are a few stipulations here, though, that you must be made aware of. So, there are any kind of unit that comes from a Nenso, such as Alma or Dawn. The way that they are designed is you cannot pop them with 150 frags, which means that you actually have to pull the Nenso to get that unit. So, unless they change that particular mechanic for those units will still be unattainable outside of Gacha, because you will not be able to pop them. However, for pretty much every other unit in the game, you will now be able to farm them from scratch, from zero, daily, pop them, and then farm them the whole way through Kaigen. Now, that's a lot of time and a lot of work. You still want to not pop units unless you absolutely have to. I've seen pictures of people who haven't pulled Spica yet and have like 700 Spica frags. At that point, it's probably about time, because until you finish it all, it's all said and done, you're going to be just about max Kaigen anyways. So, yeah. Now, my opinions on Soul have partially changed. So, do I think Soul is worth getting? The answer is probably, but he's not worth wailing for. Point being is, if you do not have a guaranteed Soul banner, I do not think it is worth wailing hard to get him. And you're probably not going to get a guaranteed banner. Any of you who thought you might, you should just prepare yourself. You're probably not going to. I mean, there is always a chance. Global is a different game than Japan. It's just you're probably not going to get that. However, if you do get that, he is worth getting, because he does have a hard quest plan now. Now, as for when you'll get him, that's another question entirely. But the fact of the matter is you will now be able to Kaigen him, which means that if you do get him, it's not like he will get to 85 and then be useless, because he can't survive in the meta because he doesn't have the HP and other stats he needs from his Kaigen. Now, this will also pretty much apply to every other limited unit in the game, because there's a hard quest plan for everything. Everything in the game that you want is probably worth getting, and more or less, you want to now save your elemental shards exclusively for collab units, because collab units are going to be the only units in the game that you cannot farm. So naturally, you're going to want those elemental shards for those units. However, as a global player, you should probably still be using elemental shards on limited units that you like, and that you want to use, because by the time Global gets these, God knows how long that'll be in the future. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, while they definitely have improved the hard quest output in Global, they haven't really fixed the AP last I checked, and it doesn't change the fact that you're still very far away from even getting these units, let alone their hard quests. So I wouldn't make all of your future plans based around this change, but if you do play Japan, then you're going to want to alter how you approach your upgraded units. For instance, we are getting Cheryl this month, and Cheryl is an incredibly powerful unit, so I will probably just max her out and then go right into her Kaigen, just because I don't want to spend all that time. I personally don't care about collab units as much. I mean, like, I would absolutely adore if I could make my DL Mira good, but after running a bunch of calculations, I've basically concluded that there is no way to make her super viable. I mean, she's not bad, she's just not good. Especially considering, and I'll be switching gears here because I think I've gone over the hard quests enough. We just got a ton of Gate 5 Kaigens for wind units. So I need more desert flags because most of my wind units are in desert. But the point is Bolt now goes up to Gate 5, Ramses goes up to Gate 5, Neferti goes up to Gate 5. There's a lot of new Gate 5s that were released, and it's almost exclusively for wind, plus Mia. Mia got her Gate 5 too, and I'll go over that more later if I want to. But the point is Wind just got a much needed boost because Wind has been kind of suffering for a while now. And while I don't necessarily think this fixes Wind, because I think a lot of Wind's issues comes with the old kits and some of the lackluster teams. And don't get me wrong, I still think Desert Wind is incredibly strong, but when you're up against the likes of Black Masamune and just the rest of the fire crew in general, Wind just isn't quite where it needed to be for the longest time. And hopefully this will help put Wind up in a much better spot and make it a much more viable team to run. Now, I don't remember if I went over this, but Neferti got her OG skin, and it looks gorgeous. It's honestly one of the classiest skins in the game. I do quite love it. So I got it pretty much immediately when it was released. So yeah, that's basically the major change and the major update. This is going to have major ramifications going into the future, because since everything is farmable, it means that I now have a lot more liberty to flesh out the teams the way I want, as opposed to the way I have to. Like, for instance, it now might very well be worth raising Soul. Maybe. Still hard to quite say if I'll actually raise him or not, but I can tell you one thing. I am now 100% more likely to raise him than I was. He was going to stay 60 forever. Noin, I might raise Noin. Now, I do have to be careful, as I do have limited amounts of elemental shards, and even though I have way more elemental shards than, let's say, a global player might have, it's still not a good idea to go and blow them on a bunch of stuff I don't need. I will almost certainly be getting Brigitte, though, because I do think that Brigitte is, A, adorable, but I also think that her Christmas outfit's very well designed. And I've always kind of liked her. She was actually one of the very first units I got. I got her really early. It's just she was never good until she got her Job Plus, and then she's just so limited. It's like, well, if I can't Kaigen her, why raise her? I already dumped a bunch into Veer, and I'm planning on raising Veer. I just need to get some more stuff before I can Kaigen her. But, yeah, I mean, I'm feeling a lot better about the Japanese version right now. I really am. And I'm glad that's the case, because it was just looking really bad for the longest time. And, it's really nice to see that, like, the patience has paid off. Things are turning around, and don't get me wrong, they're not perfect. They really aren't. We still have the issue with a bunch of limited Nensos that are currently in the pool, a lot of which are not mandatory, but very important for units to have, and it feels really bad because a lot of them have really nice skins attached to them and all. But if they made this hard quest change, who knows what the future can hold? Because honestly, we pretty much had come to the conclusion that Gumi was beyond redemption at this point, and there was no changes that would ever happen to make it better. So, into the gacha for this update. So, as you can see, this is a 3-step Nenso gacha, and this is actually explicitly rate ups for Gluttony Nensos. And at step 3, it has a Gluttony relief. Now, we've been over the reliefs before. They are basically a free limit break on the Nenso without actually getting an additional Nenso. And this is very important because these are relatively hard to get. They're pretty freaking rare, and they're very expensive when they are available. 5.5k gems for a relief is actually not that bad. I mean, all things considered, it's still quite expensive, don't get me wrong, but from the looks of it, the limited Nensos are going to be included in these banners. They do have 500 step 1s, which means that I can pull one every single day, and at least have a chance to get a limited Nenso that I might want or might need. They will be going through all of the areas day by day, and if you are interested in pulling on them, make sure you decide what area you want to focus on. As for me, I am kind of partial towards aiming at Watatsumi for either the Kagura Nenso for the skin, or the Setsuna Nenso for the skin. And although I may have said Setsuna is bad in the past, there are rumors that she will be getting a Job Plus, and I mean, Job Plus made Suzuka pretty good. Maybe it can make Setsuna good too. Job Pluses in Japan these days are normally just an excuse to turn a unit that everyone likes into an SS unit again. That is very viable in the meta. Now, there's no guarantees there, but that's pretty much where it's at. As for other weeks I might aim for, it's kind of hard to say. I actually don't have the weeks right in front of me. Let me pull them up real quick, because there's definitely some better days to attempt for this than others. And that's not it either. Okay. Okay, here we go. So, Lustburg is definitely going to be a day that's worth going for, because it has the Ultima New Year's Nenso, as well as the Rebecca Summer Nenso, and the Alma Nenso, if you don't have Alma yet. Greed Dyke is also a really good day to aim for. While you could get absolutely trolled with the Orion Nenso, Mayfon's Nenso, and Kuiena's Nenso will be in there. And even if you don't have Kuiena, his VCR is actually really good on Greed Dyke units like Mayfon. The Envy Nenso day is a little questionable. Zane's Nenso is definitely good. Belta's Nenso is limited, but do you even have Belta to use it? Desert Day is definitely a skip day. Saga Day, there is an Nenso in there that I definitely want. I've mentioned it in passing times and times again, but I'm not going to explicitly point it out because there are spoilers in there. Lost Blue, that's another questionable day because it's limited Nensos on top of what is essentially limited units. I've already been through Watatsumi. Slothstein is a great day again. Aisha's Nenso is a great Nenso as Daisy's is. Ratharis Day is probably pretty skippable. It does have the Creamy Nenso and the Teresa Swimsuit Nenso and the Kevin Nenso, but the only one that really sticks out to me is the Creamy Nenso for the skin, as the Teresa Nenso, while it is good, its VCR is not game-changing. Northern Pride, I already have Rakina's Nenso. All I need is Tilter's Nenso, and I'll get that the next time I get a box. So, I don't know if there are additional, like, special Nensos that are included outside of the ones that they mentioned on the site. But it's still a good selection of Nensos, and the fact that they're 500 step 1s that we've been so sorely missing is very much appreciated. It does look like they will be having a paid summon, I think. What's the details on this? Okay, this is one of those circular summons, so that's basically a scam. And it's not showing any of the other summons. What does this one say? It looks like it's going to basically giving you Kaigen materials, as well as it looks like it's the FES limited units that are going to be in that paid gacha. It's going to be run for 48 hours. It's going to have units like Cheryl, Carla, Nefertiti, Nina. I probably won't do it as I have all of those characters. I actually have most of the characters at this point. Um, who am I still missing? I don't have many of the Revolution, the Goddess Wood and Bless characters, as well as a lot of collab characters. Let's see here. So I'm missing Uzuma, Zwei, Bado, Rakina, but she's like more limited than a limited unit. Gino, Teresa, and pretty much it looks like the rest of these are collab units. Blitz doesn't count. So yeah, I have, I think, pretty much all the FES limited characters. I'm just missing the a couple of the limited ones that just don't appear on banners often, like Uzuma and Teresa, and in Japan they are almost never on banners. And as well as a bunch of collab units that unfortunately I don't have, but I also don't care as much. Now, unfortunately, there is not much going on in the ways of events this week. We still have the 9 Job Plus running. We do have Rakina in rerun right now, as well as Maya. And if you don't have Maya at her Job Plus yet, and you play Japan, get on it. That's super important, and she is still a good unit, even if she might not be as powerful as she was compared to the rest of the meta back when Kaigen first came out, just due to the lack of other units having Kaigens. As for the Babel Chronicles and the new hard quests, we only got Wilhelm today, so we still need to wait for Gino and Cheryl, but when they come out, I will definitely be on that. All of the units that just got their Gate 5 appear to be on rate up, so get a bit of a head start on these units. Definitely a nice touch. It'll definitely help get some of these off the ground. It'll also help me get Bolt finished a little bit faster, because my Bolt is very, very close to having all he needs to just max both gates. You can add 5 to that 153, and I need a total of 190 for gates 4 and 5. I don't know if I'll max both of them yet. I need to take a closer look at them. No new farms on the main story, unfortunately. I did miss one thing, though. We do have this daily quest thing, and I don't know exactly what this thing is surrounding it, but it's 40 AP, and it comes with 10 elemental shards on clear, as well as a bunch of elemental Kaiga materials that deal with the element. I did wins yesterday running a fire team. It doesn't look like you have to run any specific team to do them, though. Other than that, there's nothing super special that's rerunning right now. Special shop. Pretty much everything in here is a ripoff except this. Like always, it's got the 6 JE equipment shards in it, and that's going to save you some crystal later. I'm going to get this, not because, well, partially because I need it, because there's a couple of these things that I'm actually low on, believe it or not. But it also only costs Zenny, so that's not a big deal, even if I do buy it. This is ripoff. These are ripoffs too. I can't even buy this right now until I use up some more apples. As for these are, I don't know what the deal with these are. They were running last week too, and honestly, none of them look like a good deal to me. These are all for paid gems, by the way. Like, they want 1,000 paid gems for those Kaigen mats right there, and that's like not even enough. Can you even use 2? Don't you need like 2 horns per gate or something? I'd have to double check. As far as coins go, once again, there's nothing big running. If you participated heavily in the raid, you should have raid coins to spend on this shop here. I really didn't participate heavily, and we do still have that relief shop where you can trade in Nensos to get points to buy reliefs. I don't know if I showed off the Vita shop this month, but it's not bad. It's got Attacked in it, and it's got Saint Meteor, but other than that, nothing particularly stands out. I will mention that Zway's equipment is already included. At least I think that Zway's wasn't there before. And it looks like we have Michael and, wow, Deneb, that's the one. Deneb is running for its job, plus stuff this month. So, I really don't think there's anything else to go over at this point. I've pretty much gone over everything. As always, thanks for watching, everyone. Thank God that we had this change, because honestly, things have been looking very grim for a long time now. So it's really nice to know that we do have hard quests coming, and they are for the units I want them for. So, once again, thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope to see you next time.